cloudy, so there's going to be some swing conditions probably when we do play. There's only a 20% chance of rain on Sunday, so at least South Africa will be having a game. Hopefully, cross fingers. We know that how the weather conditions changes like that in Australia. We saw another abandoned match between a Ashes type of game. I would have wanted to watch that. Everybody wanted to see England versus Australia take each other on in that group, and it's unfortunate that it's rained out. But let's start first and foremost with selection. I think let me go first with this one, Nazir. I think for me personally, basically looking at the games that have been played there already, it seems that this pitch is going to be, or the weather conditions are going to be perfect for swing and perfect for pace. We have that options with regards to captaincy that we can make changes even if Timba Bavuma doesn't play. Now, Timba's captaincy, regardless of what I think of it, I do believe that he's a great captain. But I think India, we're going to need batters at the top of the order that can play against the swing bowlers. It's going to be very difficult. The fact that it is the biggest ground makes it a little bit different in my analysis now, because it's going to, or second biggest, or whatever the case may be, it's going to be a very difficult ground to get massive boundaries on. So chasing the fast bowlers and the swing is going to be off. What we're going to see a lot outside off probably, and people trying to gonna get nicked off if they can't play the swing. So we need competent batters at the top that are in form, and I agree with you on Riza Hendricks over there. Will you make any changes, other changes in the top 6 or 7, or are you
No,
okay
I
with
think
how it was?
when you win by 100 runs, I don't feel like you should make a lot of changes. I think the team is all of the players have, besides maybe Tristan Stubbs, he hasn't been in too good nick, but I'm still going to back him. I think he's going to go in there and be fearless. There's not, when you're young and you're going in there at 20 or 21 years of age, you're going to just be fearless. And I think as a finisher, that's what we need. So I'm going to stick with him. There has been talk around maybe Klaasen coming in for him, but I'm going to back Tristan Stubbs there. And the rest of my team is going to be pretty much the same. I'll take out Shamsi for Ingidi, for sure. Yeah,
Mm,
especially against India. I mentioned before that against India, I don't really want to see. I think they read him pretty well. I know it's a different pitch, but I still think they're going to read him pretty well. So
mm,
I'll put Ingidi for Shamsi and Riza for Temba. Another reason I want to get Riza in for Temba is because I think with Temba at the top of the order, if he stays in for a bit longer, it puts so much more pressure on Quinton de Kock to just hit every ball. And with the way Quinton de Kock bats, he's not the batsman like Josh Butler where he hits every ball. I think he does take some time. Sometimes he can hit every ball, but not all the time. And I think with Temba there eating dot balls, I think it puts a bit more pressure on Quinton de Kock, which we don't need.
mhm. So to correct myself once again, just to make sure that we get everything out of the way and that I'm clear on this one. Okay, we know about the ground that it's big, but the straight boundaries are apparently very short, and that's why particularly fast bowlers will thrive on this particular wicket, as well as because the pitch is quite fast, one of the quickest pitches as well. So Werner, your thoughts on the team lineup? We have Nazir here saying that he will still play Kesh regardless of the conditions, regardless of the particular pitch. What is your thoughts on there? I went with a straight full swing seam attack, including Marco Jansen as well in there somehow. What is your thoughts on the team dynamics going into this game against India?
I would also play Keshav. He, even that game we played against India where they smashed like 230 odd, he went for like at 6 runs per over. So I would definitely still play Keshav. I'd definitely consider bringing in Marco Janssen just for the bounce he'll get on this perf pitch. He does get some nice shape as well with the new ball. So I think it is a good option. And also, India don't tend to like left hand bowlers coming in at them. I've seen Kohli and Sharma both struggle against the lefties. So having two lefties possibly is not a bad option, but that means that you probably won't bring in Ngidi. So it's a tricky one how they will balance it. Do they bring in Janssen for Parnau? I don't think so. I would probably bring in Janssen straight for Shamsi. That's probably the way I would go. Then I'd play Ngidi at the other venues, unless we go back to the ACG, which I don't think we do. where I'd play two spinners. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't play two spinners. But it's a tricky one because most of the grounds are fairly big. Like I said, the square boundaries are probably the biggest in the world. So you don't want to be too full. So, but yeah, so that's probably what I would change. I don't see Temba being dropped, even though I would play Riza, not Razi. But I don't see that happening. So
Mm.
we will see.
Yeah, so we've all, I mean, I've said Riza should play. Nazir said Riza should play. I'm sure, Werner, you're thinking the same thing on your side as well. So, but we know that Pavuma's probably going to play. So let's let's try to think about what could happen in the game, seeing that we are here talking about this preview, and let's be realistic about it. Pavuma's most likely going to play. How do you feel that he should approach this? Because first and foremost, we know about the conditions, we know about the boundaries, we know he's off form. Does he give this? I think maybe perhaps giving Quinton the strike first up is maybe the smarter move to do to get so that at least we can get some eye in from the beginning and get some runs on the board. Because the way the ball's moving past Pavuma's bat, and the way when I watched that wicket again, I watched it over and over again. It was baffling to me that he actually walked across his stumps and then still tried to play a stump with a ball that's going swinging wide. If he left it, could rather get in a dot ball than try to and then go out and try to play a shot. We've got our boy Aditya with us as well now. Aditya, I want you to give us some insight into this as well, because we know that we're playing your team. We know about the pitch. I spoke wrong first, and then I corrected myself. And then with regards to the straight boundaries being very short, but the square boundaries obviously being a lot longer. Um, the pitch being quite quick. There is a little bit of overcast conditions on the day, apparently, according to the weather conditions. So swing up front will probably be right. I think even later on during the day, you'll probably still get swing with the overhead conditions in the nighttime too, with probably maybe a little bit dew around as well. Probably be hard as well when you're bowling second. Your thoughts on how do you think South Africa should shape up against India? Let me ask you that first before we get into the India lineup.
Yeah, hi guys. It's good to be back after quite a while. Interesting contest. It's a blockbuster game that we hope will not be interrupted by rain, and it's at the Optus Stadium in Perth, which is always a treat to watch. With respect to the game, South Africa has to organize its batting obviously and make the right selections because here I think when you play India, you wonder if you're better off playing to your strengths in terms of pace and bounce as opposed to spin, because we know that Shamsi has obviously been one of South Africa's best match winners in the last couple of years, and you wonder if that's going to play into India's hands, because he obviously had a fairly quiet series a month ago. So I think South Africa need to be a bit more strategic in how they approach this. Obviously, the batting is a concern, but with power hitting, I think they've got Riley there in very good touch. They've got Quinton de Kock back in the runs, and of course we've got Killer Miller at the back end. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the elephant in the room is probably Temba Bavuma's form right now, but it's not like South Africa going in there without any aces in the pack.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why people are fighting with me like I'm the selector. I mean, I don't think that I said already that I don't think Bavuma should play. I think Riza should play, but I think that Boucher will most likely stick with his skipper. I mean, Nazir, I don't know if you know this common narrative that has been popping up as well recently, that this is not the first captain basically that's not performing in world sport when it comes to big tournaments and it comes to big series. So Bavuma's not the first one to have done it, yet he gets the most abuse online when it comes to this particularly. I remember not so long ago going into the 2019 World Cup, the Rugby World Cup with Kolisi, and the amount of hate that he got for being captain of that team going into the World Cup. I remember with John Smith, the same thing in the 2007 World Cup. I remember the hate that he got over there too with regards to coming into that tournament. So there are captains in other sports. In cricket, I don't think it's the first cricket captain that has been most likely discriminated against either. There's been other captains that have also been discriminated against. How does Bavuma now get himself ready for this particular match against India when we know that the ball's going to move when Bumrah's bowling and when those guys are bowling, etc. Not Bumrah, but what's his name? Kumar is bowling. Sorry, Kumar is
Bhuvaneshwar,
bowling,
yeah.
and Singh is bowling, and the ball's moving around. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, so you mentioned that like other captain, like right now we have Finch who's under pressure, Ken Williamson who's under pressure, Baba Azam who's under pressure. All captains, all not making a lot of runs, all strike rates. Well, maybe Rohit's strike rate's a bit better now. But the one thing that I think differentiates Temba is he doesn't have as much money in the bank compared to the others. So that puts him under more pressure. We haven't seen massive innings from Temba in T20 cricket. We have in test matches where he's played valuable innings, but in T20 cricket, I don't think we've seen that. So that puts even more pressure on him. In the back of his mind, I'm sure he's going to be like, I need to perform. He's going to and that's why we see him walking across the wicket and just flirting at every ball because he doesn't know what to do. His mind is frazzled. That's what I think. What I think he should do if he's high, well, I'm assuming he's going to play, which I don't think he should. I think there's no against India in a. It's not really a must-win game, but it's a very important game. We can't be wasting balls at the top of the order. That's going to put Quinton de Kock under more pressure. So I'm just going to say just try and hit the ball, get a few runs, hopefully get a 20 of 10, 15 balls. And then in the next game, if we hopefully win this game, in Pakistan, that game is going to be a free hit for him. He can play himself in because if we win this game and we beat Netherlands, I think we're through. So if we win this game, 20 or 15 balls, and then hopefully against Pakistan, get his form back, actually, play a few shots, maybe block a few balls, but I think in this game, no balls to waste.
And I see a comment here about the SA Public being silent. The SA Public is not silent, actually.
No.
There is a massive outroar, actually, at the moment at the fact that he's even in the team, never mind being captain. So the abuse that Temba gets, I don't think anybody can rival that abuse. I haven't seen anybody get this much abuse on social media and being called so much names. And I think if you go to Facebook and go see the comments on our posts on Facebook, you will be shocked by the things that you see. Werner, this is going to be a problem. that power play. South Africa really need to dominate. I mean, would you consider? I'm throwing things out here. This is not what I believe. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate over here and trying to bring some topics to light. What about maybe opening with Riley and dropping Bavuma to 3 for this particular game if he's going to play? To start off the game from the start with attack. I mean, Riley was talking highly about how he enjoyed batting with Quinny and how they understand each other. I mean, they basically, if Bavuma loses a wicket early, he's coming in as an opener anyway. So what's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think it's going to solve any issues. Dropping it down, I still think using him in the power play, if you're going to use him, is probably the best place for him, just to get those gaps and get some boundaries away. If he gets there, obviously he's been struggling and he probably shouldn't be playing. But I don't think dropping him down to 3 is going to help at all. Even though Riley would do fine opening, I'm sure he will enjoy that, and he did in the warm-up game. But no, I don't think it's going to help our cause dropping him down to 3 or to 8, like some people are suggesting, like hiding him away and playing him as a captain. Then you might as well just have Keshav Maharaj as captain. So yeah.
But the difference between Keshav, because a lot of people seem to play it down, the captaincy role. I believe that captaincy is extremely important in cricket. Probably more important in cricket than in any other sport, in my opinion, because there are so many permutations. There's so much pressure. A game can change like that. We saw it in the CSA T20 Challenge today. For example, there was only 120 on the board, and the Titans struggled to chase it down almost. I mean, the Warriors could have won that match. There was 2 wickets left. If they just bowled more Yorkers, I feel they probably could have gotten it over the line. So in T20 cricket, like Zimbabwe, congratulations to Zimbabwe, by the way, for the performance that they put in against Pakistan, doing us a favor there. Well done to the guys. But look at that. T20, anything can happen. But when it comes to India, let's talk about India a little bit here, guys, because I'm very scared about a lot of players in this team with regards to when it comes to the batting. I think that if we stay focused, particularly Kwani the Cock, if he can stay focused in that power play, I think we can survive. If Pavuma can find because the boundaries are a lot bigger, he can find a lot more singles, drop and run. Just get pattern ball and run. Like Nazir said, just get pattern ball. That's all we want to see from him, basically. But Aditya, do you think you have the seam attack completely to hassle South Africa? Because a lot of people will say that this is the perfect ground for South Africa to play India because of the seamers that we have available to us, even on the bench. So, your thoughts between the two seam attacks? Do you think India has enough to hassle South Africa? You're probably going to say yes.
Yes, absolutely. Uh, Look, I think of the two attacks, South Africa probably has more pace, and if South Africa can exploit the bounce on offer there, and use their height and pace, hitting the deck hard, that could trouble a lot of Indian players. And let's not forget, even the Indian opening partnership is struggling, right? Like Rohit just hit a 50, but KL Rahul hasn't come to the party yet, and the batting lineup is kind of carrying him, which is fine. No complaints with respect to KL Rahul. I don't think, like I've said before, I don't think any team has like all 11 players in form, so that's perfectly fine, no problem.
Yeah,
With
and
respect
you
to
must tread lightly on KL Rahul when you talk on my channel. Eh? He's a big fan of.
I'm a big fan as well. I really admire KL Rahul's ability, and this is no criticism. I think every player goes through a rough patch. With Virat Kohli, I mean, it's no secret that for 3 years he wasn't at his best. Uh, with respect to the bowling, with Bumrah not playing, obviously there's been that loss in pace, I suppose. Because Bumrah added that pace element to the bowling attack. But in saying that, I don't think this is a weak Indian bowling attack by any stretch of the imagination. Because we've got the power play covered, we've got the depth covered, we've got good spinning options in the middle overs, and we've got the all round options as well. So I do think that the lack of, like, South Africa has more pace in its bowling battery, but I think India can make up for it in other ways. So I'd like to see how they exploit conditions tomorrow, and I'd be very interested to see how Timber approaches the Indian uh, bowling attack, because he was troubled early on by the swing. So the combination of poor form, swing, and that constant focus on strike rates. Let's see how India use that to their advantage, and let's hope Puma can sort of get out of it.
And Werner, I think that myth needs to be basically raised now with regards to subcontinent teams, particularly India, not being able to play against fast bowlers anymore. I think that's changed a lot over the years. We've seen guys like Sky, for example, can do wonders. We know Virat Kohli is currently in amazing form. I wish we had a Kohli that wasn't in form, even though I love Kohli. So, your thoughts on that, on how we stop them with regards to their batting attack? I mean, it's quite a daunting one if they're all in form, of course.
Yeah, they are quite good against high pace. I did see a stat the other day that specifically talked that they are probably one of the best teams against high pace and quick pitches. I think Rohit Sharma in particular loves that. He loves the pull shot. He loves the balls coming through quickly. So I don't. We just need to bowl tight. We need to bowl good areas. Make them try and eat us off our lengths. We've seen that hard length, back of a length on that perf pitch is carrying through nicely. It's hard to get away. They will have to play square, and we can set our field accordingly. So I think the important thing is we need to play according to what the conditions is and what the pitch and the field is telling us. So we can't be going full at the depth, try and bowl Yorkers when the pitch is telling you need to bowl back off a length, let them into the big boundaries. So we just need to think what we're doing, not go based on just what we practice Yorkers, foolish, slower balls. It's not going to work on this type of pitch. But I'm sure they've watched all the footage. They saw what Zimbabwe did against Pakistan, what works on this pitch. So I think that's probably the most important to keep in mind.
Nazir, who are you the most scared about when it comes to that Indian lineup?
That 3 and 4 is scary. Like if we have India 0 for 2 in the first over, I'm not feeling confident with Surya Kumar Yadav and Kohli at the crease. Like, how do you even get Kohli out in this form? It's crazy. But the one positive for South Africa is I don't think India bat as deep as maybe England. They got Aksa Patel at 7, I think. So yeah, but Sky and Kohli, that's looking scary.
Yeah, it is looking pretty scary, I must say. But we do have a special weapon in our team that seems to get the big names quite often, and that's Anrik Nokia. So let's talk about India and how are you going to line up, Aditya, and how are you going to stop South Africa?
I would play the same team, and obviously, look, obviously we don't have the pace that South Africa does, right? But I think that with wider square boundaries, there is an opportunity there for spinners, and I think guys like Ashwin and Akshar Patel can really sort of take advantage of that. So let's see how that happens. And obviously with Arshdeep there, we've got the depth covered. So yeah, honestly, I don't know if an all pace attack would work for us, but I think there is an opportunity for us to use spin well. And historically, if you look at India's record in World Cups or in white ball cricket in general, in Australia, we do tend to use spinners fairly well, because in the 2015 World Cup, Ashwin played at the MCG against South Africa, defending 300 odd runs, and he used the wide boundaries at the MCG to his advantage, and he was able to get a couple of crucial wickets there. So I feel like India would sort of replicate that strategy this time around as well.
What did you did an article on Richard Pybus that I haven't put up yet? It's going up tomorrow morning. Can you give me a little snippet of something that he said that really stood out to you in that particular piece?
He talked about selecting the right team, and he is with respect to South Africa, he's in favor of playing an all pace attack. He's not entirely convinced about playing Shamo in the 11 against India, because he felt like in order to trouble India, you need to have an sort of unrelenting pace attack, and that to me was a standout.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
He had views on tempo as well, but I don't want to give out too much.
Yeah, don't give that away, because you guys must read the piece. Werner, you want to add to that? Do you want to add anything? Anything that you pull out? Maybe some stats ahead of this game that you pulled out, because we know you are the cricket boffin on Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't do any interviews this week, so I can't say anything about that. But yeah, I don't have any stats for you, but I think somebody that we should not underestimate his comeback strongly is Hardik Pandya. And I think what's been good to see is that he's been hitting that 140k mark consistently, and he does hit that back off a length, that hard length, that I think is going to be ideal for this pitch. So I think he's probably the one to watch out. I think it's going to be very, very important to get through Bhuvi Kumar's opening spell. He'll probably swing the ball around a bit. Arshdeep will probably swing it around a bit as well. And we saw how they went through our top order in India when they swung the ball. We were like 7 for 4 or 9 for 5 or something along those lines. So we need to watch out for that. But I think Hardik Pandya is going to be one to watch out for on this pitch, and how we counter them. But I do feel we do have the players. I think we have a very strong model order in particular. I do feel we have the bowlers for this. And I'd like to see Janssen play. Actually, I'd like to see him. I know it might be a bit out there to play him ahead of Mangidi, but I feel like the bounce he will get here, the left arm angle against the India batters that don't generally enjoy that. I think that might just make the difference here. So it would be a bit of a bold call. I don't think they will necessarily go that way, but I'd like to see it happen.
Okay, Aditya, I know you have to run. Hopefully, we'll see you on the review show after the game. Hopefully, South Africa is on the winning side of that. But good luck for that game, and I'll speak to you soon, bro. See you. Cheers. Okay, Nazir, I'm gonna lay the platform for you to say a couple of things, but I'm first gonna give you a little scenario to maybe act out. We batting first in this particular match. I want to know if you win the toss, what you want to do as well, both of you. But let's just say we were put into bat or whatever, we chose to bat, and the stage is set, the ball is swinging. What does Bavuma and Kwani do? How do you see it playing out? What would be the perfect scenario for you?
Oh, that's so tough. I I just think that if we India are a good team, but people are speaking about them like they unbeatable, and I don't think they're unbeatable. I 100% believe we can beat them, but to beat them, I think we need to maximize the power play. Like I'm very happy with the intent, the new intent shown, especially like what we saw in the last game when Stubbs came in. Even though he didn't perform, I love the intent shown. I think that intent we need in that power play. So if the ball is swinging around, maybe give yourself the first over. But I don't think we can be on 30 runs, even for no wickets in the first 6 overs. I don't think that's going to be beneficial to us. I really think we need to go at it in the power play. Hopefully get to that 50, 60 at the power play. Hopefully Temba can get a few runs, even like striking at 150. I'll take that. Even 100, 20 runs at 100, it's not too bad. I'll take it if Quinton can get to his best. What I would do, I don't think there's going to be rain around. So I'd probably bat first, get some runs on the board, see what bowling works, what the pitch is doing, and base my bowling off what India did with the ball. That's what I would do personally.
So and the toss. What would you do if you win the toss?
Yeah. I would bat first. So I could see what India do with the ball and hopefully better that with the ball in the second innings then.
Cool. Then the same scenario.
I missed the scenario a bit, but I would definitely attack the power play as we did in the last couple of games, though it was mostly Quinny that attacked it. So Quinny and Riley, let's see. Hopefully Bavuma has a good game. This pitch should suit him. His home base has been the Wanderers. That's fairly quick and bouncy. So hopefully this does suit him and he gets away well. I'm fine if he can get to 125 strike rate. It's not great, but it's better than what we're getting right now. So let's hope that he can. And yeah, the toss, I don't think it's going to matter that much. But just because it's India, I'd probably bowl first so that we don't give them anything to chase. And we do know how good Kohli is with chasing down scores. So I don't think it's going to be a major deal if we win or lose the toss. I don't think that's going to decide the outcome necessarily. But just because it's India, I'd probably prefer bowling first and knowing what we need to chase rather than them knowing what to chase, because then Kohli can pace himself. When he's setting a total, sometimes he doesn't quite know what pace to go at, and that might play to our advantage. Though, as I said, I don't think it's going to have a major impact.
So, guys, the only thing that I can really ask everybody to do is just no matter what the 11 is in the end. I mean, I've said my 11. I having every single pacer that we have available. I'm throwing them all in there. So that's my view. I understand the Keshav point of view. It's nice to also have that in your bag, and it also gives you an option of having another leader and dropping maybe Temba. And I know we've said that we want Riza Hendricks to play, and I'm repeating it again. But we'll probably see Temba, and if we do, let's support them. Let's go ahead here and get behind the boys and support them as best as possible. Send them wishes on social media over the weekend to tell them good luck to the boys as well. Tag us in as well if you want us to retweet it to get more views and more likes, etc. But be behind the guys. That's what we're all about. We need to support this team as best as possible. Let's get your final thoughts. We're gonna go with Nazir first, and then we're gonna end off with Werner.
Are you asking for a prediction?
Just your final thoughts. Whatever you want
Yeah,
to, whatever
you
you,
mentioned
whatever you want to say that you haven't said yet, maybe.
in the intro that this is the biggest game of our tournament of the group stage. I'm hoping that it's going to stay that way because if we lose this game, then Pakistan becomes the biggest game. So I'm really hoping this is our biggest game of the group stage. If we win this, we surely we beat Netherlands. I'm pretty sure we will. If we don't deserve to go through. 100%. Please, can everyone just back the boys and no hate on social media? That would be great.
So there's lots of talk about Klaassen versus Stubbs, and I did a little preview before the World Cup where I talked about it, and that is an option. But the reason I wouldn't go with that option is that even though Klaassen is in great form, and I think he would do well against India, they tend to bat him ahead of Miller when he comes in, and that's my problem. Because if we bring in Klaassen now, that means we'll have Markram at 4, and then Klaassen is gonna come in at 5. I know situation wise Stubbs came in before Miller the previous game, and I think that's just something they wanted to try out, right hand left hand combination. But that's not a thing that will happen generally. I'm worried about the fact that we're shifting Miller down to number 6 still. Even in the last game, we were in a great position when Quinny foul. I said bring in Miller. He didn't come in. He only faced 4 balls in the innings, and which is criminal in the form he is in. So I'd probably not go that way of bringing Klaassen in for Stubbs, just because Stubbs is a natural hitter down at 6. He can get going from ball 1. Yes, he hasn't set the world alight in the last few games, but we do know what he has. He still reverse swept his first ball for 4 in the last game. Just because he didn't come off after that doesn't mean that much to me, because just trying to hit everything from ball 1 is not an easy task, but I do believe he's better at that role than Klaassen is. Klaassen is a guy who gets himself set and then can go big, and is very effective against spin. But I don't think they play the exact same role. And I'd rather have Stubbs coming in at 6 after Miller than having Klaassen come in ahead of Miller, and Miller again facing only 5 to 10 balls. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I think we've said everything that we can say. Let me get through some of the comments here at the bottom. Trevor saying, don't understand why managers send Miller at 6. Damon says, maybe Miller is scared, bro. The youngster Stubbs was willing. Love to see Janssen against India in place of Shamsi. We can't have an outformed opener, someone in the lower order that's not pulling his weight. Hardly do you know if Quinn de Kock is going to play. We're going to have to wait for the press conference for that, to get the confirmation on how he's doing. And we'll get that information out there. I know he was grimacing a bit every single time he took the ball into his gloves.
He's
I'm
been
hoping that
He's
grimacing
been
for
doing that
months
for the
now.
last 5 years.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, so you'll I'm hoping that he will be fine. Because you never know. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Nazir, thanks a lot for coming on. Werner, thanks a lot for coming on. All the viewers for watching, thanks a lot. Stay tuned to crickefanaticsmag.com, because like I said, we have quite a few previews. We asked Robbie P, how do you beat India? He said, play the swing up front properly. That was his word. That was his words to us. So it's as simple as that, guys. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you again on Sunday for another review show directly after the game. I'm hoping that all the guys on screen will be able to join us. I know it's on a Sunday evening, but I hope that everybody can join us. But thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please download everything that we've asked you to do. It's all in the live chat. Go follow these guys on social media too. Aziz has quite a good Instagram account. I've been enjoying the content over this. Not Instagram, sorry, a TikTok account. So please go join in there. I'm making a lot of mistakes today, guys. I'm very tired. But thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out.